So they gave me the book by Orman Pamuk. They gave me the book and they told me, analyze the book. So I was like, okay, how? And I decided to analyze happiness in every character. Because they were living on the same city, they had the same problems, same situation, but with very different perspectives of happiness. And then my other mentor, Dr. Sat, said, oh, well then, you have to present. So they gave it. And I had to give it like a scientific touch to my research analysis. So I'm going to start with this video about happiness. What is it? Subscribe on BBC News. Okay?
An obvious place to start searching for happiness is in the mind, or more accurately, in the human brain. Basically, a giant magnet. This machine allows neuroscientists to peer inside our heads.
Okay, Mark, we're just about ready to start.
This is your brain in all those three dimensions.
The computer images reveal that when I look at pictures of a smiling baby rather than a grumpy one, there's increased activity in an area of the brain just above my eyes, and another area further back.
So you can actually see emotional changes.
We can see blood flow that corresponds to emotional changes. So we can see changes that happen when you're seeing happy or sad faces, when you taste nice or nasty things, or when you smell nice or nasty things.
Is happiness something genuinely tangible?
Well, you're asking me a very difficult question. You're asking me whether your subjective experiences are really something that is tangible. I think the answer from modern neuroscience and brain imaging in particular is that yes, it is very tangible. It does correlate with brain activity.
It is an extraordinary conclusion. Neuroscience provides evidence that happiness is more than a concept, more than a mood. It's real. You can see it. You can even measure it. Or at least we can see and measure pleasure.
Do you think pleasure and happiness are the same thing, linked or different?
I think they're definitely linked, and certainly not the same thing. In pleasure, you're always seeking for that next pleasurable thing, so you're always in a wanting state. You finally get that thing, you get an orgasm, or you get that food, that chocolate you've always wanted. And then you're in a liking state, but that state doesn't really last. And once that state is over, you're back in your wanting state. It's almost like happiness is a state, while pleasure is a fleeting moment in that state. As we progress in understanding what it is that gives us this lasting state, as opposed to just a quick fix, we may be actually getting closer to understanding what it is that makes us happy and what makes us stay happy.
So that was a scientific touch. Happiness. So the name of my research was The Different Perceptions of Happiness in Snow by Orhan Pamuk. And I really recommend this book. Orhan Pamuk gets the Nobel Prize of Literature, 2006. He was a professor at Columbia University. He's from Turkey. And this novel was published in 2002. But I'm not going to be, I'm not going to explain you my whole thesis, because if you haven't read the book, I'm going to spoil it to you. Who has read the book? No one? Oh, really? James, really? Okay. Well, if you have read the book, then you have to tell me some things after the presentation. Okay, so, as I said, I had to give it a scientific touch so I can present it to you, scientists. So the way that I analyzed the characters of this book was, you know what social science is, right? Who wants to tell me the definition? Social science. You know, it's a study that studies society, human social behavior, the history, everything that involves with this is social behavior, the origin, organization, even what Professor Disatel was explaining, that has to do with social science. Anthropology is one of the branches. So happiness, the quality of state, being happy, good fortune, pleasure, contentment, and this all started with the philosophers like Plato said, the man who makes everything that leads to happiness depending upon himself and not upon others cannot live happy. For him, it was depending on the character of the person and the wisdom. For Aristotle, he said, happiness depends upon ourselves, meaning the purpose of life and the whole human existence. And like William James, another philosopher, he said that it was all about pleasure. And then also religions have different meanings. Like Gandhi, what you think, what you say, and what you are in harmony. This is happiness. For Buddhism, this one I like it. Thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of candle will not be shorted. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Okay? For the Bible, if you believe in God, you're going to be happy and your creator. For the Quran, it's more the here and after, and on the present, and on the human after is where, on the here and after is where you're going to have the happiness. So there's a lot of perceptions, and let's go to another people, important people, students. I asked for some of you to tell me your definition, and some of you said a feeling of well-being when you feel good with yourself and with all the things around you. ACS class of 2009, when those I care about are happy, being with your family and living with your own culture, 2009, life and people, ACS class of 2003, when you're pleased with what you are and what your surroundings, peace and feeling love and compassion, being loved by the person you love, having and getting every opportunity to play basketball, putting my thoughts in paper, that makes the student happy, getting a good college, job, money, and my family forever. So, these are all important people. Okay, so what I did with I'm not going to say the names of the characters, but I'm going to explain a little bit about their perspective of happiness, the way I analyze it. Like character A, he said in the book, this is the happiest moment of my life. And he was drinking raki, and he was about to die, because he planned to die. He knew that someone was going to kill him because he wanted to. Because he wanted to die because of art. So that was his perspective of being happy. He wanted to die for art. And character B, if you don't have any principles and if you don't have faith, you can't be happy at all. Doing the right thing doesn't always end in happiness. So we can see in this character, talking about the other philosophers that I said, this was not about